Want to know the secret to a great night's sleep? It's Purple. Why? Because only Purple mattresses have the Gel Flex Grid. It's the reason why Purple mattresses are soft where you want it, firm where you need it, and instantly respond to movement. The Gel Flex Grid flexes around pressure points to support your whole body no matter how you sleep. Plus, the Gel Flex Grid is 80% air. It breathes, so you're not too hot or too cold. Learn more about Purple mattresses and the Gel Flex Grid at purple.com. Purple, reinventing sleep.
Hey!
Hello, Harold.
What's going on?
How are you guys doing today?
So good.
Good.
This-
How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I'm down here in the Carolinas. It must be like 56 degrees. Where are you guys at?
We're in South Bend, Indiana today. It's about 42.
Oh, God. No, thanks. That's too cold for me. I'm sorry. I grew up in the state of Montana where it would get 52 below zero with that wind chill factor and stuff. I was like, I got to get out of here. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Smart move.
Being from Indiana, my God, you're in John Cougar Mellencamp area.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what we call it.
Cherry bomb.
What is it about the cornfields and stuff like that really brought you guys together? Because, I mean, I first started discovering music out there in the cattle fields of Montana and Wyoming.
We started hearing music first in our church, I think. And we grew up in a small town in Ohio, actually. But you're exactly right. Surrounded by cornfields. And we grew up singing a cappella hymns and with our family and our church. And that's kind of how we got going.
I got to ask you about those cornfields because out in Montana, because we also had cornfields, but it was opposite years. Like one year it'd be cornfields, the next year it was sugar beets. What do they do for the opposite? Because I heard that corn steals from the soil.
Right.
Yeah, they rotate the crops between soybeans,
Okay.
Wheat, and corn.
Wow.
This
This has got to be a major first, guys. I mean, first of all, to have three people up there. I've seen two in the past, but I think this is the first time I've ever seen your situation. You're making history.
there have been trios in the past, but I don't know how many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rare, but at the same time, it's so refreshing.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
You guys did a song. I mean, when you guys jumped into Seven Bridges Road, you got to understand that is my lifetime song. And when you jumped into that, man, I was not only the student to watch how you were going to do it, but I was also the fan of that song.
Oh man,
That's a cool way to look at it.
Yeah, we were so excited to be given that song by Kelly Clarkson, and absolutely classic song, and we felt like it was made for us with our harmonies,
The harmonies, that's the thing about it, is that they make it seem so simple, and you guys did as well, but there's no way that this song is simple.
It does take a little bit to get those harmonies locked in and a lot of practice to hear what sounds right and what doesn't sound quite right, and where can we put our own spin into it, and where to just let it be the classic.
Yeah.
What the Eagles came up with.
Oftentimes, simplicity is the most effective and the most direct to the heart. Yeah.
We're not scared of simple.
Yeah.
Well, they always call it the KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid. And I totally get into that. That's like when I'm producing commercials and stuff like that. People go, all right, man, we're gonna do like 18 tracks. Oh, the hell we are. It ain't gonna happen that way because listeners can't hear 18 tracks.
Yeah.
So I'm amazed that every one of you wanted to be doctors.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, it basically runs in our family a little bit. We've seen a lot of great examples of people in the medical field, and so we know what that life looks like, and we know. It's such a service to your community, and it's fulfilling because it's difficult work to do, and it's necessary. But music got to us all in its time, in its course, I guess.
Well, is it possible? Because I believe that comedy is a medicinal. Isn't music a medicinal, and you are doctors?
For sure.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a very good way of putting it. And I didn't quite expect our music to have this kind of impact on folks, but especially thanks to The Voice, we've been getting messages daily about, I was just reading one this morning about older gentleman with heart issues, and he said our music helps lower his blood pressure. I was literally just reading that 10 minutes ago, so you're exactly right.
Well, you have no idea what I'll never forget when Randy Owens of the group Alabama told me. He says the reason why we work is because family can only create harmony in the way that we do it. I mean, you guys have got that harmony as well.
Thank you so much. I mean, we definitely feel like that's where our greatest gift lies, in this music thing. And I think the boys would have made great doctors. I'm not sure about myself, but
You're right.
but I really do think what we have together is super special. And I'm every time we hear encouragement like that and testimonies like that of people who really do enjoy our music on a deep level, and that connection is happening across miles, it just makes us want to keep doing it more.
Well, don't you talked about growing up in the church and stuff like that and discovering music there. Don't you feel that maybe your calling is you are modern day prophets in a world that really seems to be kind of just wreaking havoc and it doesn't know where to go, but yet you guys are delivering songs and lyrics that really say this is the way, but I'm not going to interfere with what you believe in. I'm just going to have you sing along with us.
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that. One of my favorite quotes is, "When the world becomes a massive mess with no one at the helm, it's time for artists to make their mark."
That's it.
And that's a Joan Mitchell quote.
And doesn't that lift up your creative energy? Because, you know, even though creativity is an addiction, but it's a good addiction.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, pushes the world in a hopeful direction. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that you guys were way ahead of the curve on is the fact that you guys, studied school at home. And nowadays, with remote learning and stuff like that, what is there a message to those students and stuff like that would rather watch TV instead of participate with the classroom?
Very interesting.
Yeah, we had such an unique schooling experience. Our mom homeschooled us up till the age of like 5th grade or 7th grade, depending on which kid you talk to here. But we got the experience of being both at home schooling and going to a public school in a small town. And we all took school very seriously, and not a day goes by where we're not grateful we did. For a whole lot of reasons, for community building, for knowing how to think and problem solve. And we take school very, very seriously. And that's I don't know, even though we're creatives now, we still are grateful that we did.
I would love to know more about that transition. And the reason why I bring this up is because, for 42 years, I've done radio. We have a room that we step into. We imagine people are listening. We're convinced that people are listening. But during the lockdown, I needed to be with people, so I took up a job at a grocery store. I had no idea that people really existed until I got there.
It's a crazy time that we're living in.
I think it's important. I think that was a smart decision on your part to get that job, because community and like real life interaction is very important. So if you can find a way to do that safely, and we all need to
social beings.
Being intentional about making that happen.
Well, what was that transition like for you guys to go from having 4 walls around you to suddenly you're in a classroom? It's like, oh my God, what's happening here?
Super scary for me. I was the oldest. I was just terrified. I wanted to stay in my room. I didn't want to go anywhere.
We were all pretty scared.
We were scared, yeah. And you go to school and you're this strange kid, and then you got to go back and be the strange kid again,
Every day.
Every day. But I think it was really good for our character building and, just social cues in general. Yeah. We picked up a lot from school.
What's so inspiring about a girl named Tom is the fact that it's family. Now, Billie Eilish and her brother came together as family as well. Do you think that we're in this brand new movement of music where it's like, come on, guys, let's instead of fighting and getting on Oprah Winfrey or Dr. Phil, let's work together with music?
That's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think so. I really think there needs to be a movement of music towards more of what we saw in the 60s and the 70s, where people are just coming together, making music about what really gives life meaning, and making those deeper connections. And I think families can do that on a unique level because we've been through so much together. And so those things are kind of impossible to avoid, those things with meaning. So when we go to write together, or when we are creating original music, I think really special things are happening that are able to connect with other people on a deeper level because of that family tie.
So when you're working out those harmonies and stuff like that, do you have the recorder always on? Because, you know, the harmony to me comes as a big shock and awe, because it's like, whoa, I didn't think I was going to come out of me.
Usually I would say if we stumble across something that we like, we get our voice memos out on our phones and
try to replicate it one more time.
Yeah.
How we're not always recording.
That's interesting. You bring up the voice memo and stuff like that, because so many people, especially rock fans, have always collected the napkins and things like that the rock stars left behind with lyrics on it. How are we supposed to collect your lyrics when you first get it if you're putting it inside your phone?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, when I'm writing, I've got to have a notebook and paper, and I like to, because I like that old time feel of that. You know, it simplifies your thoughts a little more for me. Whereas if I'm on my phone and I'm getting a notification from Snapchat or whatever at the same time that I'm writing, and that just does not work.
But just for voice memos, to record that audio,
record
it's
the audio, yes.
Simple.
Yes.
Quick way. Yeah.
It's delightful. And we'll be able to release them in the future potentially,
That's
so
true,
they can be collectibles later.
Yeah. I'm so into writing things down. Maybe it's just a radio thing and stuff like that, but I got to tell you, last night I had to buy a new notebook, and it was in the thing at the grocery store. It was $15. I went, what? And I thought, your thoughts are priceless. $15 is nothing.
Well, I want to see that notebook.
Yeah, it sounds like a good investment there, man.
Do you ever just sit there and defrag yourself, though, when the lyrics are coming out? You're going, okay, and you sit down with a pen and you just write down, okay, what was I thinking? Why am I thinking? Who am I trying to reach? Break it down.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. I don't do it as frequently as I wish I did. Do you do that often?
I do, especially with the radio shows and stuff like that. And I think it's a radio thing because we were constantly air checked with program directors and stuff like that. They would sit there and say, yeah, that was okay, but who were you talking to? What were you thinking? What was the outreach? And do you really think that a woman 25 to 49 really picked up on that? I think it was more of a male comment than a female comment.
Wow. So you're constantly analyzing your communications.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for us more on the songwriters side of things, you really are taught to follow a song where you feel like it's meant to go. And so you could write anything down at the beginning, but then, you just try to tune into those first lyrics or that first melody and try to really follow the song where it wants to go. Rather than trying to infuse your message into it, maybe, perhaps. But oftentimes, you sit down with a message in mind and say, okay, now how do I put this? Yeah, how do I put it?
Well, the head guy of Metallica says he doesn't write the music. He says something gives it to him, and he just says, okay, here, let's bring it to life.
Yeah,
right.
We've heard that idea as well, that no one owns the music. It's just out there already, and we're simply manifesting it or something like that. It's interesting.
How do you think that's happening? And the reason why I bring that up is because I live in this beautiful forest in South Charlotte, and probably about 3 miles from here are these huge boulders the size of houses where Native Americans lived back in the 1400s. I believe that everything that I write is from somebody that lived in those boulders. Do you guys believe in that too?
Oh, interesting. Wow, I've never heard that perspective before.
Yeah, I love the idea of intergenerational, like ancestral communication type of thing. And since we're very spiritual beings, like that's just a part of us. I think whatever speaks to you spiritually is a very important, and I think society kind of neglects that or says that it's acceptable to neglect our spiritual selves. So yeah, I think it looks different for everyone, but
I hear that for you, Arrow, you hear the voices of these past people in nature, and I think I hear a lot through nature too, and I never really thought about it as being past generations, but it makes sense to me.
That's so funny you bring up nature, because we have a lot of deer in this forest, and I love just going out there, and a doe will look at me and I go, tell me, what do you want? Tell me what I need to know. Tell me what I need to know.
Huh.
Wow.
That's really cool.
I like that.
And And one of these days, I want to learn what the swish of the white-tailed deer tail is all about, because, I mean, that's how they communicate, is with that tail.
Yeah, they're saying something.
Yeah, they sure are. So now, what happens next, guys? Because you know the voice is only a page in your book of chapters.
That's right.
Yep.
It's a step on the ladder. Sometimes we call it a page in our
Stepping
book.
stone. We're very thankful for it. We're very, very thankful for this exposure it's given us, but we really are passionate about our original music, and we have a lot of songs in the bag right now that we want to get in the studio and record. So we're planning a move to Nashville in January.
Wow. So are you going to join any of the songwriting groups down there? Because, I mean, that seems to be the big thing down there, to get in one of those songwriting groups.
That would be, I mean, I would love to go to writers rounds and kind of like with people and maybe get some insight from wiser than us people. I don't know. Wow. But yeah, it's just to be surrounded by, that the host of musicians and all of that inspiration and expertise and what am I trying to say? No.
I don't know if we'll join those writing.
The
writers groups. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, those writers circles, lots of them are really focused on trying to get the next hit. And it's very hit centric. And we're a little less worried about that, or that's not quite where our intent lies. I mean, if we happen to have a few hits, like, we'd love that, obviously, but we are not writing for hits, I wouldn't say.
Yeah, because
so
that's what I hear from your guys' band and stuff like that, now that I know your story in a way, it's like I don't want to be the top 40 hit. I want to be that song that people are still listening to 50 years from now.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Well, and God, I'm in radio, so I know how we abuse music. We play it every 15 minutes, so it's crazy.
We appreciate what you do, though.
We love it, though.
We'd love to be on the radio someday.
Have good music coming through the air.
So where can people go to give you guys a lot of love?
We have social media, obviously, on Instagram and Facebook. But yeah, our website, we have some merchandise there.
Nice.
We've
you can buy our records.
Yeah.
Any tour dates that we eventually book will be there. So yeah, we'd love for people to follow us and maybe even sign up for our email subscription list to be a part of the journey with us.
Well, you got to come down to the Carolinas when you jump on that road, man, because we love our music down here, dude.
Yes, sir. We're working on it right now. We'll let you know when we come.
Hey, please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you, and I truly do mean that.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Well, you be brilliant today, you three, okay?
You're already brilliant. Keep it up, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect
really
to meet
enjoyed
you.
it.
Hey, Washington, D.C., we all miss the cheers, the tears, and the touchdowns. The excitement of a last-second field goal to get the heart pumping. The football season's finally here. So now is the time to head to Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races to place your bets for Week 8. And placing your bets at the sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races is an easy way to earn exciting My Choice rewards all season long at the sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Charlestown Races. All gaming is regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Gamble too much? Call 1-800-522-4700 for free confidential help. Must be 21.